Okay. We really have to understand that this league, and we should get this by now, that this league is, it takes to as close to 48 minutes of hard competing, high intensity to win games. And we went on a nice winning streak, and it in these last three games, we're only finding that for parts of the game. And we're some teams can do that. We're not one of those teams. We have to compete for as close to 48 minutes as possible. And tonight we didn't get that job done. So we had some individual nice performances, some good group performances at times. But this is a tough league. This is a hard league, and when we are still learning how to do that. That can't be the case. So if we want to get off a losing streak earlier than last time we went on one, we're going to have to play much better than we did tonight.
Start tonight with Sean Cunningham.
Hey, Luke, when you look at that play that happened in front of your bench, it looked like you guys thought you had a turnover there. Can you just kind of let us know what you were kind of thinking there and what the official told you?
Yeah, well, to me, it looked like he had traveled. It looked like he had slid his foot. And then it looked like he had lost his balance falling out of bounds, which, to my understanding, you're not allowed to call a timeout. He told me that he had 1 foot anchored down, and with 1 foot down, you can call a timeout. I disagreed. I thought that foot was moving. So I haven't seen the replay of it yet, but to me, it looked like the pivot foot had slid as he was calling a timeout.
James Ham.
Yeah, Luke, there was a series of blunders, it felt like, by the officiating crew, even the one on the opposite end of the court where it clearly went off the Bucks. Just what is your take on how it was officiated late in that game?
Yeah, I mean, that's frustrating. It is. But look, that's out of our control. It really is. All we can do is focus on trying to execute, trying to get stops. We did not do a good job tonight of getting stops. And things that are within our control as a group. It's a tough job, but it's frustrating when you see things like that happen. Especially when you're trying to fight your way out of a couple tough losses leading into the game.
We'll go to Jason Jones.
Yeah, Luke. Some of the new guys like Terrence, DeLon, they play an energetic style every time out. How do you get that? I mean, I don't know how you get that to other guys, but what is it about those type of guys to where you need to get that to everyone?
Yeah, well, it's an important skill to play in this league, to have that in this league. It's why I'm excited about these guys that our front office brought in, because I think that will, with some more time, will continue to get us there faster. But yeah, you're right. When they come in, there's an intensity and there's a level that they're playing with, and that's how it has to be. At the start of games, in the middle of games, no one's going to play a perfect 48 minutes, but it's got to be as close to that as possible at that intensity level. And I thought the bench did a great job tonight.
Tony Harvey.
Yeah, Coach Walton, and talking about that, Terrence Davis, it can't go unnoticed that every game that he plays for the Kings right now, he's just improving, at least with this team. Every time he step out on the floor, 7 to 10 from beyond the arc. He had his best game tonight, of course, as a King. Can you just talk a little bit about him and what he means since he done came in over a week ago?
Yeah, he's getting more comfortable with what we're doing. But yeah, I mean, you look at those, he's 7 for 10 from 3 with 27 off the bench. We hit 17 threes on 43%. We have 30 assists. We scored 22 points off of their turnover. Like these are things that lead to winning games. And we can't stop people. And you know, it's something that TD does bring to the table. Is he brings some grit on the defensive end, getting into people. But you know, you put up those type of numbers, you know, these are games we should be winning, but we have to elevate our play, mainly on the other end. Now there's plenty we can fix offensively too, but TD definitely brings some grit to the way that he plays the game of basketball, which is nice to see.
Jason Jones.
Yeah, look, offensively, you guys play, a fast tempo, energetic, high energy style. Is it weird not to see that translate to the other side of the ball?
Well, it's clear that that's where the biggest the priority on where the improvement needs to happen, and I get part of it. You know what I mean? Like we started a couple younger guys and whatnot, but like that's where the progress has to happen. And we talk about like how we play offense. To your point, Jason, we want to play defense the same way, as far as being a disruptive team that gets into people, that gets deflections. That's how we are, that's how we're going to continue to build out our defense. But as of right now, it's anything but that. It's for the most part, it's pretty it feels like, at least, take what you want from us on that end, on nights that we're not playing the way we should be playing.
Sean Cunningham.
Luke, obviously Drew Holiday is a hell of a player. I'm just curious, did you see a difference there in that? I mean, obviously we see De'Aaron kind of turn it up a notch in the fourth quarter historically, but did it look like he was giving him some problems for the majority of this game?
Drew's a great player. He's been one of the elite guards in our league for a lot of time, probably underrated for what he does on both ends of the court. But in the first half, he really I thought he really controlled the game, and again, on both sides of the floor. I thought we did a better job on him in the second half, but when you're talking about elite players, it's hard to turn off once they kind of get going and once they get into a rhythm. And he was in a rhythm, the entire first half.
Jason Anderson.
Hey, Luke, in trying to get what you want defensively, I'm just wondering, I don't know, is there a lack of a commitment to the – I know you're usually pleased, you feel like the effort is there, but is there a lack of a commitment to the kind of work that it takes on that end of the floor to be consistent?
No, I mean, it's a little bit I don't think it's that easy to just pinpoint it on that, because I do think our guys play really hard for the most part all season, but it's the details. It's how many 50-50 balls did we not come up with tonight that turned into points for the other team? Like, it's coming up with after playing a really good possession of defense, coming up with that ball, not giving up an offensive rebound. It's all those things that kind of add up. And yeah, part of that equation is at certain times we're not into the ball enough. We're not making them feel us enough. It is part of it for sure. But there's a lot that goes into that end as far as where the improvement needs to happen from.
Last question for Coach tonight, Jason Anderson.
And just to follow up, are you did have a 9-game losing streak previously, as you mentioned. Are you confident the team's in a different place right now that you guys can work through this and avoid something like that?
Well, I'm confident that we're aware of what it takes to get ourselves out of this. So, it's up to us in the room, which is what I tell our guys. No one's coming to bail us out but us, which should be, it's good to know that. But then we have to go out there and get that done and make it happen. So, we have a really tough game as far as this Minnesota team's playing much better now, and we're flying across the country after a back-to-back in 2 time zones. So like the challenge, there's a lot to be challenged there, and Cat's playing at a high level now, and so we got a tough task ahead of us.